I want to ask you about a headline that caught our attention this morning. Bud Light losing its title as the top-selling U.S. beer, at least for the last month. What's going on there?
So it's a pretty big deal. America's best-selling beer, no longer American. It's Modelo Especial, now the best-selling beer in America, replacing Bud Light. Maybe the latest sign in the fallout from that failed possible campaign with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. But this story is also kind of complicated, guys, right? Because Modelo in America is sold by Constellation Brands, big alcohol company. The Mexican brewery itself that brews the beer is actually owned by Bud Light parent company, Anheuser-Busch InBev. It bought it in 2013, but it had to give up the U.S. distribution rights to satisfy antitrust concerns. So it just gets all complicated.
So by now, everybody knows about Bud Light and their complete meltdown and how they basically destroyed their brand, getting behind transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. It's completely trashed their brand. And so what are some of the other beer brands doing? They're going just the opposite. They're going as far away from this nuttery they possibly can. And I just saw this video. I got to share it with you. It's basically Coors Light using Patrick Mahomes as a spokesperson, even though right now, him being an NFL player, you can't really endorse a beer. And I just love what they did here. So I'm going to play this for you. It's absolutely hilarious.
Recently, we tapped star quarterback Patrick Mahomes to be in a promo for Coors Light Beer. Turns out, we overlooked the fact that he can't actually promote Coors Light Beer. That's why we're proud to introduce Coors Light Bear. Coors Light Bear is 0% adult beverage and 100% mammal. It's the perfect bear to hang out with after a long day. Few things are more refreshing on the golf course than Coors Light Bear. Not the same thing as beer. Coors Light Bear is pure mountain cold refreshment, which is something you would totally say about a bear. Coors Light Bear is perfect for the beach, but you've got to be careful because not everybody likes bear on the beach.
Coors Light Bear, the world's most refreshing bear. Here you go, my man.
Visit CoorsLightBear.com and get a Coors Light Bear of your own. All proceeds go to 15 and the Mahomes Foundation.
I'm going to replay that and I'm going to react to it because there's some things in there that are so subtle that maybe John Morant should watch this commercial and watch Patrick Mahomes, who's basically been free of any scandal except for his nutjob brother out there. But I want you to see a couple of things, and we'll talk about it. It's in this funny commercial.
Recently, we tapped star quarterback Patrick Mahomes to be in a promo for...
Okay, so the first thing you see as this commercial, and having been in advertising, nothing is by accident. You have to understand, even what Bud Light did, nothing was by accident. They knew what they were getting into. They just didn't think it was going to be this bad. So now you got Coors coming out and going, we want no part of that. So what do you want to do? We want to get the NFL, basically MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback, the highest Q-score athlete we can get with the cleanest background to get out here and show us doing something. So what do they show? Patrick Mahomes sitting out back of what's supposed to be his house, not sure if it is or not, flipping burgers. That you can't get more innocuous than an NFL Super Bowl winning quarterback standing out back, modestly dressed, flipping burgers.
For Coors Light Beer. Turns out, we overlooked the fact that he can't actually promote Coors Light Beer. That's why we're proud to introduce Coors Light Bear.
I love that. The nod. So now here comes the bear. The bear comes into the commercial, and he's going to have this bear hang out with him.
Coors Light.
Okay, so unlike John Morant, what's he doing? Patrick Mahomes is sitting back doing something most of us do. We don't go out to strip clubs and drop 50 grand in a night. Of course, Patrick Mahomes could. He could spend 100 grand in a night, but instead, he's hanging out on the couch, watching TV with a bowl of popcorn. Again, completely innocuous, nothing scandalous, except for the fact that he's sitting there with a bear.
Bear is 0% adult beverage and 100% mammal. It's the perfect bear to hang out with after a long day. Few things are more refreshing on the golf course than...
Okay, so now, once again, no entourage, no caddies, nobody. Him out there by himself on the golf course, swinging a club with the bear. Can you see the contrast? I hope you, from an advertising perspective, this is funny as shit, but you can see the contrast. No crazy transgender guy running around, just Patrick Mahomes hanging out on the golf course by himself, doing some quiet time with his tag-along Coors Bear.
Coors Light Bear. Not the same thing as beer. Coors Light Bear is pure mountain cold refreshment.
So he walks into his house or somebody's house, and there's a bunch of guys that you would imagine hanging out, watching football or whatever. But notice what these guys are doing. They're not sitting there with guns and doing crazy stuff. You got one guy playing, or two guys playing foosball, some guys eating, and then some guys sitting over on the couch over there. And then here comes Patrick and the bear. That's his entourage. That's it. There's no 10, 12 guys with the hats on. He's got a bear with him. That's it.
Which is something you would totally say about a bear. Coors Light Bear is perfect for the beach, but you've got to be careful because not...
All right, so again, here's Patrick Mahomes by himself with the bear, just sitting on the beach with having a couple beers. That's it. Nothing crazy. This is the most mundane life you could possibly have, but it has no scandal attached to it other than the weird part of Patrick Mahomes hanging out with a bear.
Everybody likes bear on the beach.
Coors Light Bear, the world's most refreshing bear. Here you go, my man.
Visit CoorsLightBear.com and get a Coors Light Bear of your own. All proceeds go to 15 and the Mahomes Foundation.
And then it closes with the charitable integration. John Morant could learn so much just from this 30, 40-second commercial. He brought in a completely plain vanilla bag spot of him just hanging out at home by himself and a couple of his buddies. And then at the end, they integrate his charity. That's it. Perfect spot. Great and anti Bud Light type spot. And Bud Light has taken it so hard. It's amazing. I want to show you a couple of things. How bad things have gotten for Bud Light. It's just pretty incredible from a branding perspective, and me as somebody who has been in advertising. But check this out. Bud Light dethroned. They lost their title as America's top-selling beer. New York Post writes, says Bud Light dethroned, loses title as America's top-selling beer. Bud Light is no longer the best-selling beer in the nation as the Anheuser-Busch-owned brand suffers the consequences of a boycott that was called in the wake of its marketing partnership with transgender social media influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Big mistake. Modelo Especial, the Mexican lager, was the most popular beer brand in the country during May, according to data compiled by consulting firm Bump Williams. In the 4 weeks that ended June 3rd, the Modelo brand represented 8.4% of retail beer sales. Modelo, this is what's real important because a lot of people were wrong. A lot of people said, hey, listen, Modelo is owned by Anheuser-Busch as well, so no big deal. Not so fast, as Lee Corso would say. Modelo, whose U.S. division is owned by Constellation Brands of New York, but which sold internationally by an Anheuser-Busch and InBev, beat out Bud Light, which presented 7.3% of retail sales. That's a big distinction. They have ownership in them internationally, but they do not own distribution or the beer in domestic United States. So a lot of people out there giving out misinformation, talking all kinds of crap about, how Modelo is still Anheuser-Busch. That's not true. Still owned by the Anheuser-Busch, though. So let's get Coors Light up there instead. People don't understand. This is completely different. Modelo is owned by Constellation Brands of New York, not Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch has European and international distribution. So they do not profit from Modelo here in the States, which is where all the hoopla came from. Ja Morant, who I talked about in my last segment, could learn something from Patrick Mahomes. A lot of these guys could learn something from Patrick Mahomes. He probably got paid millions of dollars just to sit there and barbecue and walk into a room with some foosball and hang out on the beach with a bear. Perfect marketing, perfect timing for the marketing. I salute Coors for what they did. So let me know what you think. Did Coors Light really step in and take the space of Bud Light and really going to make a difference now that they're doing the anti-transgender marketing? I really think they are, as well as Modelo, are going to continue to see profits because of what Bud Light did. Pretty stupid. Let me know in the comments what you think. Talk to you very soon. Thanks for watching, and enjoy life. Have a Coors Light.